Hey, back with the hoodie. Back in SF. Let's go. Let's see if we still have troubles setting up chat. I don't know why the URL keeps changing. Oh, oh wait, actually, it's the same. All right, let's see, let's see. Hmm, I think it's working. Mm. Give me one sec, guys. While we set up chat, as always, wish I could figure out a way to like set it up without having to like um start streaming. Makes sense. Revant, hey, no TTS.
Revant says, hi. Revant says, we need augment office tour.
I start next week. Um, they'll let me do an office tour, but yeah, we'll see. Honestly, I really don't know what to expect. Can you say something again? Why isn't the featured chat? Okay, it is. Okay, that's good.
Revant says, frame drops.
Frame drops? It's not good. That's not good. I hope it stops doing that. No. Um, okay, last time I tried to like do it on less sources. Might do that. Let's just turn off kick and restream. Should be better. Um, still, still, no, I think it's not okay. I'm seeing on my end, I'm still getting frame drops. All right, let me turn off Twitch as well. Is the Matrix background? Yo, Dark Sky. Oh shit, he's on Twitch. Fuck, hold on. Is it? Give me a moment here. Okay, I think that's better. Yo, Miles proof. Sorry. Hold on. I think, yeah, we can see it now. Okay, so it seems to work okay if I just have TikTok and YouTube. So that's what we're doing. That's where most of my users are. So we'll stay there. I'm gonna try to go live with Ray Fernando in a sec. Hey, we're doing well.
says, "Hey brother, how you doing?"
Doing well.
Sagar Saija says, "Yo man, welcome back."
Hey, Sagar. What's up, man? Are you back too, or are you still in Europe? That's good. Good to see. Good to see
Boom
everyone.
says, "Hey."
All right, all right, all right. Um, okay. So let me just give you some updates.
Ryan says, "Oh, those are YouTube comments, cool." Sagar Saija says, "Yeah, I got back last week."
Yeah, it's YouTube and TikTok now, so um I think my internet's not good enough to do like every platform because I also used to do like Twitch, Kick, LinkedIn, and X.
Miles of Iron says, "That's really clever."
But the current internet is not good enough for that. So yeah, we'll just do TikTok and YouTube. That's where most people are. So thanks everyone for coming through. Apologies to everyone on the other platforms. Yeah, okay, so boom. I ran a new model that came on my leaderboard. I haven't actually added anyone else on this. What do I use to stream? I use OBS mainly, and I use a couple plugins on OBS mainly. Atom multi-stream to get like the multiple streams up. I don't know why your comment didn't TTS. I guess sometimes it just doesn't do that. Weird. Anyway, yeah. So I got a new model here on the leaderboard. It's this Ernie model by Baidu. It's a 300 billion parameter model, and it's actually really good for an open source model. It's not as good as DeepSeek on this leaderboard, but one thing that I've noticed about DeepSeek, which is really annoying, is it just outputs so many tokens, like thinking tokens, before it gets to an answer, whereas Ernie seemed a lot faster. Also, this was in diff mode, so it would have been a lot faster. I accidentally ran Ernie in whole mode, but even on whole mode, it was so much faster than DeepSeek. You can see here it's got 149 average seconds per case, whereas DeepSeek is more than double that. Another thing to note, as I just said, is this was run in whole mode. So I think I started running this in diff mode, and it was even faster. It was like half the speed. And yeah, the cost also, look at the cost here. It's like 1/8 of the cost of DeepSeek, which is really good. So I originally made this leaderboard to find the best values for speed and money in coding LLMs. And I think the best value for speed and money is now actually Ernie. This is a new model released sometime this week. And honestly, I think this is the new best value and speed model. It is like quite rate limited though. I kept hitting a lot of rate limits. I was running it through OpenRouter, but because it's an open source model, we might see new providers, or like if you have a good enough GPU setup, you might be able to run this locally as well. So that's pretty cool. How much space on your machine to run all these models? Oh, I'm running it through OpenRouter, so I'm not actually running them myself. New model on OpenRouter, GPT-5? Are you talking about the stealth model? No, that one. Yeah, I tried to run the benchmark on that. It's terrible. It's like one of the worst models I've ever tested, so not sure. Not sure who owns that. People are saying it's like a AWS model. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna be linking up with Ray Fernando. I think he's already live. Let's have a look. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's doing slash commands with Claude Code.
To this example, we should be able to run this command by doing slash project colon, and then what does it say? Optimize. So optimize is basically the name of the file here. So optimize.
Yeah, so we'll be linking up with Ray in 10 minutes or so. I want to do
I know it's my bad. There's no problem. I was just kind of making this face. It's just
I want to do like, because I use Augment a lot and he's using Claude Code. It'd be cool to do like Augment and Claude Code, battle it out type thing, but I don't know what we'll actually end up doing. An open source version of GPT? Whatever it is, it's like so bad that like it's gonna be irrelevant. Yeah. Is Augment like Cursor? No, it's like a VS Code extension, but yeah, I mean, like they're all AI coding. Yeah, it's more like Cline, I would say, in the sense that it's not an IDE, it's an extension. But yeah, what really sets Augment apart is the context engine it has. I think the context engine is like unlike any other similar experience that I've seen with these agents. It's able to like find files and like bring the right context into the LLM, which is like the most important thing for these agents. I think is like especially for like large code bases. Unlike a blank project, it doesn't matter at all. But if you're using like if you have a large code base, knowing which files and stuff to bring into context is really important. Yeah. Okay. So let me see how I can set up. Just gonna message him, and then also I think we were coordinating on X. So I think I can bring that.
In LLMs. So in here, I actually, if you scroll down towards the rules files, you can actually copy it just by hitting this. You have to hover your mouse because that's not going to be there. You hover your mouse here, then this will be revealed and this will be copied. So this is the exact rules and guidelines that I use. And then you can just go over here to design and just paste that in. You'll have everything here. And so what I can do instead of optimize here, I'm just going to go ahead and clear everything. So Command C would just kind of create a new line for us, and I'm just going to do /clear. So that'll clear everything out, the entire conversation. We can start over again. So we could just do /project and then :design. And so that's going to reference our design command here. And then I just say, enter, and it's going to probably do something similar. It's going to be like, hey, I'm going to ruminate over this and see what's going on. And now it's basically, I'll help you understand the design system for this transcription project. Let me go ahead and check to see how this design system works. So I have a friend who's calling, and his name is Tech Friend. Let's see what's going on.
Oh,
yo,
sure.
yo, Tech Friend, what's going on, man? Let's see if I
Yo.
can get you into the room here, and let's go ahead and cook together. So while this is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get this.
Shit. Oh, I'm
for
joining.
you. I'm gonna assign you to guest one, and so that way we can, chill. Hey, what's up going on?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can. So as of right now, basically what I'm doing is I'm showing some folks how we cook with Claude Code. And so in Claude Code, what's happening is that we're going over the new slash commands. And for those who aren't aware, TechFriend is a good friend of mine who actually is coding a lot with AI. And if you haven't had a chance to follow him, definitely follow him right here up above. And the reason why I brought him on is because you're coding a lot as well with AI, but you're also using another app, and that's called Augment Code, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, cool. So for the viewers who aren't paying attention or who haven't been kind of like, there's a lot of stuff that's moving really fast, but I've been hearing a lot of Augment Code. I'm really glad that you're able to kind of join me on the stream today because I'd love to see some of your workflows, and I thought it'd be kind of fun for us to maybe even code together like a little app or kind of vibe and stuff for a little while because one of the things that I saw on Twitter, which was really funny, is that somebody's like, "Can somebody make a Tinder UI where literally you can just swipe left and right for like bug reports or something like that and see if you can do certain things?" So I have a V0 project which I actually already built something like this before, but it'd be kind of fun for us to kind of vibe together and use our different things and kind of learn how to do some of this stuff. And so yeah, like that's just kind of where we're headed with this and so forth. So for those who are just joining in, we're basically talking a little bit about the slash commands that Anthropic has. This has been in the system for a little while, but I think they're just kind of now promoting that you can create your own slash commands. And then how we create them is just by literally just putting a markdown file in the actual directory, like here in our project. And then if you want to put it into your own root folder, which is your own user folder, you would have to not put it into this project. You would put it in tilde. And then you would just call it just by the prefix there. So you would do /user security review, and then you see the difference here is that if you put the tilde in front of it. So the tilde means that this is your current, working directory. So if you just do cd tilde, and you do pwd, so present working directory, it's users array. as opposed to what we were before in our project. So CD, and I just go to like commands. That's actually in the workspace of where I have my code. That's a little bit of the differences there for those who are kind of wondering. So yeah, man. So yeah, how you been?
Yeah, good. I just got back to SF on like Sunday night. It's good to be back.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
sweet, man. That's so cool. Do you want to share your screen here?
Sure. I'm not really like showing anything. So what's the plan?
Okay. Yeah, no, I thought it'd be interesting because I know you're coding a lot with Augment Code and stuff, and I
hmm
kind of want to learn a little bit more
Oh
about that
yeah,
because
for sure.
us,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can give like a little
and so
walkthrough. Um,
okay, yeah, because
let's
I'm not really too familiar with it, and I
let me
mean
try.
I've heard so many good things, and so I just kind of want to hear like firsthand, like
Yeah,
how legit is it?
yeah, for sure. Okay, I'll share my VS Code here.
Cool. Let me go
So
ahead and see if I
actually,
can grab
this probably isn't the best project to do it, but I
it. Okay.
know a lot of these companies kind of say this, and that is that their indexing is really good, or like their
Hmm.
yeah, I know like there was like this little Twitter beef between like Cursor and Windsurf being like,
Okay.
unlike I think it was like Windsurf first was like unlike Cursor, we actually index your code base, and then Cursor was like, what? No, we do that too. And then it was like a little back and forth. But yeah, anyway, like from my experience, the way that that like Augment's context engine works, which is now like I think Cursor and stuff are doing it the same. It's like not just the indexing or like embedding or however they do it, but it's like a combination of that and like the agent that goes out and finds files and like finds the right sections and stuff. From my experience, that part has worked really well in Augment, and I think like a lot of people that have tried it share that sentiment. Um, yeah, like it's kind of like I don't know how to show you. Like this one, I just have my like leaderboard here, but it's not
Okay.
really that big of a project. I think it'll really shine with like a big project. And then yeah, I think also Augment was one of the first to release like these remote agents, like kind of Cursor's um background agents, I think it's called in Cursor, some background tasks.
Okay. Okay.
Um yeah, you can like just pick any repository you have, any branch, and then just like kick off something in the cloud and like
Mm.
have many in parallel. Here I have a bunch
Wow.
um
Oh my God.
that we're running.
So do you prefer this over like Claude Code or Cursor and stuff right now?
So I haven't actually
Like
like
what's your
got to try Claude Code, but yeah, I did make the switch from Cursor to Augment about I don't know, it's actually probably like 2 to 3 months ago when Augment like just released their agents around that time. Before that, it was just like
got it?
a chat thing, which I hadn't tried.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, like at the time I made the switch, I thought the agent on Augment was a lot better. And that time, like Claude Code didn't even exist. It's just changing so fast, It's really hard to keep up. And now we have like so many new agents like AMP and
Yes.
Open Code. Like there's so many like
Wow.
ones that are just like popping up and becoming real popular. Yeah.
Oh man, that's super cool. Yeah, I was just kind of catching up here with the chat. So Joshua says, I went from VoiceLink to WhisperFlow. Seems all right so far. Yeah, I use WhisperFlow as my daily driver. It's so great. It does exactly what I need without shoving power user functionality in my face from the get-go. Thanks for WhisperFlow. Recommendation been mapped to function key. It's so nice. Yeah, I pretty much use WhisperFlow all the time. Created a voice mode. This is a get voice mode from Twitch stream. Voice conversations with, of course, voice editor. Okay, well, that's a cool project. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's really cool, Mr. Voice Mode. Ray, you should do a stream trying Factory AI. Are you familiar with Factory AI?
I've heard of it, but yeah, it's another one that I haven't tried.
Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. Too many co-streams. Yeah, so I was just kind of checking in on my sauce here and seeing let's see, are we ready here? How is my coding with Cloud Code going? So this is just a review here. So it's basically just done a review to do these types of things, and it's telling me about areas of improvement. So there are some areas in my code which basically says it's using five font sizes that are like too big, basically. And so I definitely need to fix some of that. And then there's also some design elements that need to be changed. So like I have different font systems. And so you can see if you let, kind of vibe with AI for a little while, it's gonna create all this code and like design inconsistencies. So having a document like this is super powerful. And for those who are following along, you could just grab this on rayfernando.ai. It's just automate AI standards with Cursor and LLM. So you'll kind of see this little thing here. And then at the bottom, you'll have like a little rules file here that you can just copy and put that in as a slash command. So these slash commands and these types of rules files can work across all your different code bases. So like I think one of the things that we talked about maybe building together or something like that, tech friend, was I worked on something which would allow you to swipe like left and right for projects and stuff like that. And basically it's just kind of gamifying the whole like creating a Tinder UI for bug reports and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna see if I can find that because I think it's like Tinder.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. Like, especially if it's proactive, like you have like some kind of agent that comes up with ideas for your code base and like bug fixes and optimizations, and yeah, sends you like these Tinder cards that you can swipe on to be like, okay, start working on this, or no, don't worry about that. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'll have to find it. I have a live tracking app, Google login.
I think I can find what it was called for you. It was called React Swipeable Setup.
Okay. React.
Swipeable, maybe
You know
search.
what's recents?
Yeah,
React.
there you go.
Okay, here you go. Cool. Awesome. Let's see if I can let's go put ourselves over here. So basically, Wayne Sutton from Convex basically hit me up and said, "Hey, I think he was vibe coding, and then he had something. It's like, I'm wondering how I should integrate this." I'm like, "Oh, let me just use V0 really quick. I love V0 for prototyping, and I find this is to be like super duper helpful. So
Mm-hmm.
you can like skip, and this is literally just a game, or you can swipe left or you can swipe right. I'm swiping with my mouse, which kind of sucks, but this actually works on mobile. And so there is an actual documentation called React Swipeable Docs. And so I just copied and pasted this. So if you're looking for a library for this, you can just do React Swipeable, and then you can actually see this type of library called React Swipeable. So if you're building an app on the web and you want it to be like touch responsive and have like these swipe gestures, you can actually just use this library and then just tell an AI to reference it and use it for yourself. And so you can just go to the documentation. It's a pretty much a simple implementation. You can actually see if I swipe up, down, left, right, it actually can track you. It tells you kind of what's going on here. And so the way that you would architect something like this is basically you would just take these gestures and then map them to something that you want to do in your app. In essence, here, I'm saying I'm listening for the gesture right or gesture left, and then animating accordingly. And all I did was just give the documentation in V0 about you know exactly what you see here, and then even examples as well. And then I just gave it some screenshots about like an app that I wanted to build. This is like Wayne's app, and so all I did was just kind of make my first version and so forth, and V0 pretty much built everything. And so I thought it would be really interesting to maybe see if we can take this version here that we have, and then maybe see if we could do a version like this for Cursor or for Augment Code. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, or like a platform agnostic one.
Yeah.
Um,
Cursor.com/agents. So for those who aren't familiar, if you have Cursor agents, you have this like cool UI here, and it should allow you to like let me see if I can log in. You can run these agents now on the web, which is really, really cool. And I know that so Augment Code has its own background agents as well.
yeah.
Cool. Ray, tell Tech Friend to show off Augment Code working on his game. Oh, you have Augment Code working on a game?
Yeah, Doom actually comes into my Discord and chat a lot, and he loves, yeah. I don't know if I showed you. I mean, I can show you the game that I've been working on.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Let's
Yeah,
see if we can take a look. Ryan Carson, what's going
yeah,
on,
for
man?
sure.
Welcome to the
Let me
show.
share.
It's good to see you, man.
Um,
Yeah, we're just kind of hanging out a little bit, kind of doing a bunch of stuff, like cooking with a bunch of sauce here. So earlier we were talking a little bit more about agents and so forth, and sorry, we talked about slash commands. and then I was basically kind of getting into Augment Code and other types of coding stuff that's besides Claude Code, and Tickfriend has been coding a lot with using games and so forth like that. And what I was taking a look at also was like kind of the web agents dashboard here, and so these are some of the stuff that I'm using on the web. And so if you have it on your iPhone, it pretty much looks something similar to this. And it's with for the web agents, so for like the dashboard, here's the dashboard, here's the smithing. So if for those who aren't familiar, if you're using Cursor, you have the access to this thing called like background agents, and so you can run these things while you're on the web on your phone, as long as you just go to cursor.com/agents, and then you could just give it some information as far as anything you want to do. And so,
Yeah, it's a good idea, Abdul. The issue is it keeps changing. But yeah, no, I guess.
and then doing different types of features. So, yeah, I wanted to like a lot of the times I have some bugs that I need to fix in my head, and so I just tell the agent to fix it. And it's kind of helpful because by the time I get back to my desk or do something, I can actually start to review the code, and I just start asking my repo questions. And so it's really nice because like even if you aren't going to commit this code, it's just super helpful to have that implementation details or anything that you want to run in the background data questions on. When you are in this section here, you can actually select which models to run. And so you can select not only one model, but like 2 or 3 models to run at the same time. And depending on your plan and your limits, you basically use your limits pretty fast. If you have like especially Opus Max checked, I just have the $20 a month pro plan, so then you should be able to get this type of thing. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a heads up of kind of what it is. So you give it one command like I did here, and it kicks off 2 jobs. And so each model will have their own job, and then they're going to return their own results. I do find that O3 consistently gives me really good results. And Claude Sonnet, it just depends on kind of the tasks that you're asking. So Abe says, asking your repo questions is wild, by the way. Yeah, it's the best thing ever, I feel. Like AI has been super helpful for this type of thing. Should I punch it back to you here?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can show off my game if you want, or just like talk a bit
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
So yeah, like,
Yeah.
I had like a bunch of these augment credits left. I mean, first I'll just show you the game. Like, it's this. Are you showing
I
it?
think the wrong window shared this.
Oh right. Oh my bad.
Yeah.
Hold on. There we go.
Technical difficulties is fun.
Is that better?
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is built-in Three.js, or like React 3 Fiber. It's fully open source, and yeah, so like not yesterday, like a few weeks ago, I had like like last week I had all my augment credits running out, so I was trying to like spam as many features and remote agents as possible, just working on this game, and I did it all on stream, and I made like a little edit if I don't know, anyone's curious, just YouTube/@TechFriend, how I used AI to build my MMO game. But I can show you like the pull requests here. Like, I have a few I didn't merge in that were cool, like implement a skill system with like shield and like force field ability. So this was just like kicked off and one shot with Augment's remote agent. Gives you a really nice PR, and also because I have it linked to Cloudflare, like CI/CD, it gives you like a preview URL. So I can actually click on this and then see this front end change here, and you'll see here down the bottom left hand corner there's like a shield icon. I click that and I get like the force field feature I asked for, just like for me able to test it just fully remote, like not even taking up my resources. And like while I was having that going, I had like 4 other remote agents doing other things. So one of the other ones was like a sword. Where is that? Yeah, sword attachment. And then yeah, just like that, I can test this as well. I think, did I have a sword here? Yeah, sword. Boom. I mean, look, obviously very primitive, but a good like starting point prototype for a sword. Yeah.
That's impressive. And how long did it take you to get started with the game, and like how is this workflow? Like, what made you change to Augment Code, I guess is my question.
This game I've been working on for a long time. Like yeah, before or around like when ChatGPT came out, maybe like slightly before that. What made me change to Augment? I was working on, I think I showed you before, Chaos Coder. I had some problems. I was like in like a debugging loop with Cursor, and I spent like, I don't know, it felt like many days like trying to get out of this death loop with the Cursor agent. I just didn't make any progress. I gave Augment Code a go, and I was able to get out of that debug loop and like fix that issue in like a couple hours, I think. And I was like, okay,
That
this just feels like it just works better. So I just made the switch then, yeah.
okay. And what's the cost like? Is it kind of the same?
The cost, I'll show you the pricing. People like really like Claude Code Max plan in my, especially in my
Mm,
Discord. Everyone's like, yeah, it's like unlimited for 100 or $200, and they really like that.
got it.
But like I struggle to like, so I'm on this $50 plan with Augment. You get 600 messages, and I struggle to use this. I mean, I'm not like
Mm,
that heavy of a user, but like I was on, I think like 400-ish or like 500 in the past 2 weeks, and I was trying to get it down, and I only managed to use like 100 because in my experience, for a lot of the time, like you can just one shot pretty big features with Augment's agent. Like you just tell it what to do, and it's like I don't know. I feel like they change it kind of often, but there was a period where it wouldn't like say, "Do you want me to keep going?" Or like you kind of get that with these other agents. They either have like a max tool call limit, or eventually it's like, "Do you want me to keep going?" And then you spend another message. So it's message based also. So I'll mention that like it's message based rather than token usage. So if you like, that's another pro tip I have with the remote agents is like I always mention when you're finished, make a PR. That way you don't have to spend another message to tell it to make a PR. It does all the things and then it makes a PR all within that one message cost. And you kind of like half your
okay.
cost usage that way. Yeah, yeah.
So the basically the way it breaks down is your one message can actually carry you a longer way than maybe a message in Windsurf or Cursor because it get like basically stops right away. For those who are wondering, a PR is a pull request. And so in GitHub, when you like, for example, on my screen here, you'll actually see something that says like create PR. So in GitHub, if I like, for example, if I wanted to integrate this, what it did is it actually created a branch called Cursor. And so that way, any code that it's building on its own is pretty much isolated from your entire project. And so if I liked what was happening here, I could just say create PR, and then it will actually set up all the code so that I can review it in GitHub, and then I can merge it back into my existing code base and kind of move on from there. If I wanted to continue editing, I could just hit open in Cursor, and then that will like allow me to open it in Cursor and then continue to iterate and ask more questions in the agent or say fix this, now fix this, or that type of thing. So that's kind of for those who are wondering, kind of like what a PR is and kind of its relevance and so forth. Yeah, it's kind of like part of like a development pipeline for those who are kind of wondering. Um, like, how do you, like AJ? How do you figure out like what is your style? Like, do you keep everything in the main branch, and like how often do you check in code, and like what kind of stuff are you doing here? Like, what's your practice so that like if you have to go back, how do you undo everything?
Yeah, for sure. I think yeah, I try to keep like production is main branch, so what's ready to be public, what's like the most stable, that's kind of main branch. That's how I see main branch. And then every time I want to develop a new feature or stuff, like best practice is to make a separate branch, like a feature branch or like a bug fix branch. That way, like, and commit very often. That's one thing I didn't do before is like I tried to like make my commits like, really polished and nice. But then when I started using Aider, I saw it was just committing every change it did, which initially that was like very different to my workflow. I'm like, oh, I only want to commit good stuff. I don't want the public to see, or like I don't want it the open like the GitHub to contain all these like weird commits. But then I realized like it's not actually that bad. You don't really lose much having more commits. If anything, it actually helps being able to revert exactly the checkpoints where things change. So yeah, like reverting commits is pretty big, an easy way to roll back, and then yeah, managing merging.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Doom is a huge fan, obviously, because he's like calling you out.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, each branch doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost you money. It's an idea that you can kind of start rabbit holing down. You can delete the branches later on.
yeah.
You can merge back in. You can do all these types of stuff. Daisy, how's it going? Saw your post this morning on Twitter, so I had to drop by. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. By the way, for those who are following, I'm basically doing this summer of streaming. And so I'm trying to stream every single day at around 8:30ish. I always say 8:30, but I tend to go live around 9, mostly because I'm still kind of getting started into the streaming thing. But we're going to be going in 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And, we're just going to be coding. I try to pick something that as far as like a topic. And so today's topic, basically, we're going through the slash commands. And as people are kind of funneling in, we'll just kind of circle back to, what that looks like. If you're coding with Claude, I know at the very beginning of the video, I pretty much set up the live stream so that whenever anyone rewatches the stream, right at the very beginning, you get the value. So that's kind of what we got the value. And then Tech Friend just kind of called me in, sliding in. And by the way, Tech Friend, I really appreciate you being a member as well on my stream. Like, paying the $6.99 a month to support this stream. I think that's just amazing as a friend. So I gotta reciprocate back as well. And kind of check out your stuff. And I also want people to know, because I know that you're coding pretty heavy with AI, and there's other people like Doom who definitely watch you and kind of watch how you code. And you're doing a lot of different stuff too. It's not just necessarily that, you know, we don't, we're all trying to build these apps and use AI. Like, I know for myself, I'm using AI to try to get freedom in my life, right? And I'm trying to build these apps and trying to learn and, use AI as far as a way to help direct my knowledge and to learn entrepreneurship so that I can kind of continue to grow and connecting with real people like Tech in real life. So yeah, I actually hope to go up to San Francisco and then maybe we'll hang out and do like a real live stream. Maybe walk around cafes and stuff and ask people like what their coding setup is, right?
Yeah, dude. Definitely, man. Hit me up anytime. I'd love to do that kind of shit.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Already a big fan of the stream. Yeah, yeah. No, this stuff we really kind of get down and so forth so here. So I also like to try a lot of different tools and various things that kind of going on. So um, yeah, I think what I wanted to kind of try is to see if I can do a design review on certain files. So I think my overall code base was just like it was reading this rules file, and then let me see if I can implement the design system. So um, in Claude Code, and then I'm kind of curious to see how this kind of works. Maybe so. From what I understand from Augment Code, since the agent is like very proactive and it wants to do multiple steps, you could just do you give it a plan first, or how do you like
It's actually,
architect an idea?
in my experience, it's actually really good at taking a really simple prompt and doing the planning and the testing automatically. Some people might not like that, but I found it really good because the agent is on a loop and testing every time it makes a change. So there's more like confidence in the output actually works. So it seems like by default in their system prompt or whatever, they have make a plan and then test the things afterwards. So you're
Okay.
you're able to give it a simple prompt, and also they have a like enhanced prompt button. I don't know if you've seen that. Some other tools I think have that as well. So you can give it kind of a simpler prompt, and it the enhanced prompt button takes like the context of your code base to enhance that prompt a bit more. Yeah.
Oh wow, I like that idea. Yeah, that's really cool. Huh. I think let's kind of see if I can kind of cook a little bit here with this project from V0 and then just kind of play around and see what we can get, right? So I feel like that could be really fun. Do
Mhm.
either of you do the persona hacking for these builds, like assume a persona of ML engineer, et cetera, et cetera? It just depends on my task and whatever I'm trying to accomplish. I think I do more of this thing called the architect. So drop the AJ a follow for sure.
Yeah, I just
Definitely
got that one. Thank you,
that.
Disney.
Yeah. Or do the agents not need such prompting? It just depends on the agent and what's going on. I use another app called Repo Prompt. And so Repo Prompt is another one of my favorites. And some of the baked in prompts that are in here are kind of these types of personas. So as an architect, you can kind of see what he
Mhm.
does here. So for this architect one, he'll basically say, I want you to act like a senior engineer and
Mhm.
analyze requests and create detailed plans. This is extremely important because once you have this in here, and this is when I was actually developing like an app for like adminning like the canoe club type of thing. You can copy this and paste it in, and it's going to give you like the architecture for all the files that you should change and the database schema and everything like that. And then once you get that plan, you can come back and then just do the engineering prompt. So the engineer prompt is a little bit different. It's going to actually say specify like the full names, show the complete code, and like format all the responses in like this type of format, which is super duper helpful for a system like this. And so this is kind of like very focused in that way.
Hmm.
Um,
Can
and
I
then
chime in
yeah,
here quickly? I think it's important to know like which agents or tools already have a system prompt. So if you're trying to do like a persona thing, that's typically something you'd put in the system prompt. So I know for Augment and probably Cursor, they probably already have a system prompt. So if you're trying to like override that persona, there might be like some clashes there. Yeah.
that's a really good point. Yeah, because yeah, there's like Cursor is a good example too. So like Cursor has its own prompts, they have their own ML models, they have their own things. So whenever you're typing in that text box window, a lot of stuff will happen in the back end. So it may assume it may not, right? Depending on what's happening and whatever you put in. Where like if you go into ChatGPT, yeah, like a lot of these people are now kind of enhancing their prompts in the background. Or if you're just working with a straight up model and kind of doing that. So Doom is asking about Devin. So yeah, I'm gonna get into Devin. I feel like I have another friend whose name is Yifan, and we did a Claude stream together, and he actually is using a lot of these types of background agents and PRs and using Claude in the PR workflow. And we're also going to take a look at Devin because
Yeah, Rob. I say natural language because I don't want to be you know,
just looking
languages.
if you get a chance.
Sorry, yeah,
What is it?
I'm just like trying to respond to my chat without conflicting with your chats. So I'm like muting.
Hey, oh, so you're actually live streaming right now on your side.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So sorry if
Wow,
I
this is
like
this is
look
kind of
like I'm
meta here.
talking and muting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, I appreciate everyone who's just kind of coming to hang out. This is kind of like less. I think yesterday I did more coding, and then today is kind of like a little more like kind of hang out, chill vibes right now. How do you manage your context on a long feature chat with Claude Code? Do you wait for the automatic compact, or do you have another strategy? I do a couple things. I kind of compact as I go, but before I compact, I tend to tell it to create a plan or a document here. So let me show you a little bit of kind of how this looks like in sort of real life with my current project that I'm working on right now, because I do this like, extremely frequently. So on the left side, I told it to create a documentation folder. And this documentation folder has been like going on for my entire project, and I tell it to create these plans. So as I'm coming up with various things, the one thing that I want to do for my app is actually create like a trial workflow. So like start a free trial or something like that. And so I just tell it before I run out of tokens or before, as I'm kind of planning and working out these features, I said, can you just go ahead and write the final plan in Markdown? And then I say, be sure to ultra think. And so the ultra think keyword will give it additional resources for the thinking. So that gives it about 32,000 tokens to run its reasoning, and that actually helps it. And then the second keyword I add is to do sub agents before writing to the file. So the sub agents will basically kick off anything else it needs to do if it's going to go ahead and read a file. Every sub agent that gets kicked off will get an additional 250,000 token context window to do thinking tasks. So you get to apply the, in that 250,000 token context window, you get the additional, like, not the additional, but 32,000 set aside for the reasoning to like read a file, run some rules and additional processing, and that data gets sent back to the top level agent that's going to be gathering the information and then writing the file for you. So that those ultra think and then the sub agents are the two keywords you want to use in your prompt to then generate this like final task file. And so I find that extremely helpful because it's going to use that to also go back into the history of your chat window and then pull that information together to create this comprehensive plan. And so a lot of the times it's not really clear what exact feature I want to ship with the exact details. So that's why I'm using that single chat to do that. And once that is done, I just go ahead and hit slash, not compress, but I compress the chat from there. And once I compress the chat, I still kind of want that history there. And the history that's there is that compressed version. That's a really good summary. And then I just tell it to then use sub agents to go ahead and start implementing the plan that you see here. And I add the plan. And so that way I don't have to really re-explain things. Usually it's really good. Like this trial user upgrade flow, it's pretty massive. I mean, it's like a you can see this entire planning doc is like 630 lines. But it was a very long conversation, but it actually is very thorough and it has a lot of details. And I actually review the details by hand because I want to make sure that every implementation, as far as like the features that I want, like tracking in social media, are the exact things that I want to be tracked, and I can just go in here and modify it as needed and so forth. So that's kind of what I do before commenting. So yeah, and you can add UltraSync to cursor rules as well, or does it have to be in the Markdown? I have to add it because I'm using Claude Code. I have to tell it in the actual like as I'm typing into the box. So UltraThink is only available and has actually not two words. It's actually just one word squished together. If you're using WhisperFlow, it may separate the words, so make sure that the word isn't separated. It's kind of dumb, but yeah. I think let's see. Claude Code Ultra. Actually, I wrote about this in my blog. So rayfernando.ai. If you go in here, I actually have getting the most from Claude part one, and I actually probably just do a live stream / video about this because I think this will be extremely helpful for folks. But in like this is just like the TLDR if you want to send to a friend, like how to get started, what do I do? Because a lot of people were asking me these types of things. Just get the max plan. That's all you have to do. And then as far as like, getting started, if you find you're using that limit a lot, upgrade to the $200 a month, but $100 a month can get you by for now. Start with planning mode, but these are the thinking modes. There's 4 modes of thinking, and these are the exact keywords that you have. So UltraThink will get you the max amount of tokens, which is 32K, and then 16, and then I think 8 or whatever, and going all the way down. So this is the reference for, like this is not me actually making this up. This is actually it sounds kind of vibe coding because it's like, yeah, it's think extra hard or think whatever. These are the specific words that are actually in the code of Claude Code, and that's kind of what it actually listens for, so that it can do its thinking phases. So it says ask Claude to make a plan for how to approach a specific problem, and then these are the thinking budgets. So these are the specific phrases, and this is kind of where it's coming from. It's actually coming from Anthropic itself. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to kind of think about. But I made sure that that was documented here. And then it's a good idea also to reject plans. So if you're doing any plans and it's not what you want, make sure you reject it and then tell it to fix the plan accordingly so that you'll have the thing that you want. And then when I do /compact, I say be sure to keep the details on what we did in the sessions. So as we're planning to do an audit or whatever the next steps of whatever your next plan is, I tend to write those details in here so that it can go ahead and compress it, but then keep some of the context that we need for the next steps. So that's kind of how I do it. Instead of creating new windows, I just compress it. Like this is my next task, and this is what we're going to go ahead and do. So yeah, web access prompts. So yeah, this is a pretty detailed thing. I was actually probably going to make multiple videos based off this, and I also have an example plan of how this actually looks like.
Is this a new website? Looks really cool.
It's kind of old, but I actually started with a template. There's this template, Notion template, Next.js, yes, I think it's the guy who made it. So this is a really great template. So it's basically a Notion Next.js starter kit. And this is actually written with the Pages router. Oh, it looks like he may have updated it. I gotta fix it.
Oh, cool.
But basically, it's all powered by Notion. You just have a Notion.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's all updated in real time. So as soon as I make changes to the Notion file, it just updates on my blog. And so
that's
yeah,
so cool.
Notion's a really great CMS. Yeah, I highly recommend it. And yeah, it's light mode, dark mode. It has the social images. It's extremely well detailed and everything. So I just modified it a little bit for my own thing. And this was before vibe coding and before the language model. So
Right.
I actually need to go back and now that I have access to Claude Code, start to actually make the design more unique to me. Because it still uses Pages router, it doesn't use Tailwind CSS, like the version that I have, right? And I think he may have updated it since then because it looks like there's a whole bunch of changes up here now. So
Roll WebOS for your site URL. I think it's just rayfernando.ai. Is that right?
Yeah, rayfernando.ai.
Nice.
Yeah. And this is just like a Notion page. And it's cool cool. And then like each page has keywords, and then each keywords I added these features into the pages. Like this tags thing is not actually in the default template, but I wrote some code to use the pages router to generate these tags. It took a long time.
Yeah, it's really
But
cool. I started
yeah.
my blog like last week or so, and I thought the best way to do it was just try to get everything from a markdown file, but this Notion setup seems really awesome. So I might
Oh,
migrate.
it's fast. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, migrate or just start fresh and then just
Yeah.
copy all the stuff over.
Yeah, I mean, I only have one blog post, so it should be easy.
Yeah, Anthropic is on fire as well. Sign me up for that video. I will watch it. And are the subagents something from Claude Code or Cursor? I use Claude Code on my terminal only. Yep, it's Claude Code. So Claude Code only. You can use it in your terminal. Just tell it that specific keyword. So yeah, subagents, ultrathink, all of those keywords will work in Claude Code, and you're going to be up and running and screaming super fast. I think it's gonna be really really good. So yeah, Abe, that's what's up. Yeah, big shout outs to everyone who's kind of live streaming with us, kind of hanging out. Yeah, this is a much more relaxed stream today. Sometimes I really don't know what I'm going to get into, but I feel like we always drop gems and can do really cool stuff here on the stream. I know people actually probably want to see more coding and stuff, but yeah, let me know what you guys want us to do right now. I mean, I feel like it's open ended. Like, if you want us to build an app from scratch or start from zero, like, how do we do that? I'm open for anything. I mean, what you cooking with, AJ?
I would love to do like find some open source repo, and then we can kick
Okay.
off. You can kick off like cursor background agents. I can kick off augment remote agents, and then we also do manually like maybe Claude Code, and I don't know if I can set up open code in time, but like all four of us working on the same like task, like two
Oh,
AIs versus two AI assisted devs kind of thing, and then see like which
okay.
outcome
And
is
then
the
we'll
best.
call it the $1 billion app,
Yeah. Oh yeah, what happened to that?
right? Everyone says that like you could with one person is gonna have a what $1 billion
Yeah.
company. Everyone's like talking all the toss, it's like, come on, bro, just feel like
I remember you were doing
that's like
like a multiple dev thing. I forget what
yeah.
it was called. How did that go? Do you know what I'm
Oh,
talking
you mean
about?
like the 100K challenge or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
Or
exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
it was yeah, one. Okay, so check. Yeah, actually, that's probably a really good one. So yeah, I there's this like six devs, one type of thing. So six, I think six devs, one project. Let me see if I can pull this up
Yeah,
real
yeah,
quick.
that was it.
Streaming while watching the stream. Yeah, the stream section. Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. So let me see if I can pull this up here. So there's this thing called Six Devs One Project, and this is
Mhm.
something that I participated in where what happens is I think I was the one that's actually started with the mission. So there's like a specific goal, and I did some research, and they actually kicked off a new schedule basically because this is some new folks who are doing this challenge,
I think that
and
was a
so
drop down. Oh yeah, there it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
season one. Okay, cool,
Yeah.
very good. Yeah. So it started off with I started off with the planning, and then someone else did the front end skeleton, and then someone else did the design, back end, auth, and QA.
Awesome.
And so in in this specific episodes, I looked up the project, and in my episode, basically, you can see my face. Yeah, it was 2 hours. You only have 2 hours to cook, right? So I came up with the whole plan and used O3 to find it. And apparently, there's this thing about medical documents because a friend of mine, she had some issues. She was going to pay like $2,000 to have this whole thing translated, 33 pages of medical documents.
Damn.
I was like, I think there's already something that could do this. And then I looked up in O3 to gauge on demand. Apparently, this is like a highly demanded thing. There's like 10,000 people or 10 million searches or something that come up per month for this like
Damn.
like PDF translation. And I was like, bro, that's an app.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I wrote up all the specs and everything, and then handed it off, and there I think everyone just kind of cooked. So that's pretty
And did it finish?
cool. But yeah, I don't remember. I think they did. So
Oh, view finished project. That was a button up the top
yeah, I don't think.
on
Let's
the
see.
and the hero on the left. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes, and I
sick.
think yeah, that's the you upload the files, and then yeah,
That's sick.
yeah, yeah, French discharge form, and then yeah, it was basically like you could do a subscription or something like that. Yeah. Yep. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, y'all cooked. And everyone only
Yeah.
had 2 hours each. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was actually a really cool challenge. Yeah, so yeah, the domain I think was called like medpdfnow.com. So yeah, I think it went offline, but I like they gave it all to me because I wanted to like I really like this idea a lot myself. And I was
Mhm.
like, I need to actually take this and make some money from it. You know, find my next $1 billion idea. So build an app from scratch. I'm literally making this app you're talking about. Just got approved by Apple Pay.
Oh shit.
Seriously, dude, that's sweet, man. Dude, I need to have you on the stream, Dazine. It'd be really cool to understand, like, you know, what stack. I mean, if you're using, are you coding with Swift, or like, are you coding with React? Like, would be really cool. You know, React Native. Uh, one dev, six agents. One dev, six agents. What do you think, bro? You think that?
Yeah.
Yeah, React Native. That's wild. That's wild. I think that's a really cool idea. I like this whole idea for this type of thing. And an MP3 player that's alternates between two or more playlists. An MP3 player.
That's pretty cool.
So you could just say, I want this playlist and just kind of let it basically like a DJ, but it's more
Mhm.
curated because you're giving it several playlists. I can mess with that. I'm actually surprised that's not a feature already. But that's kind of funny. That's actually really good. I like that.
I think
I wonder how that would work.
there's something similar in Spotify. You can like I think it's a Blender or something. It was like you have like two people share their profiles and it like blends them or something.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, to blend the two features in together.
Yeah.
Dang, son. Dang. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so I like this app idea. What other app ideas could be interesting here? So I think, uh, oh yeah, so you were talking about us kind of like picking an open source project or something. Is there anything that's kind of floating what you're interested in there?
I Well, one thing, like it's a bit hard, but it's a really cool project I like. I think you guys mentioned Whisperflow earlier this stream. I'm actually using an open
Yeah.
source thing like that called Whispo, and
Wispo.
yeah,
Please
WHISPO.
share. Okay, Wispo.
Yeah, so I
I
just
see Whirlpool.
uh,
Yeah, let's see if I can see this here. Wispo?
yeah, that's it.
Bro, is this
By
real?
Egoist. So Egoist is the original one. Down at the third link.
Okay.
That's the original one. It's like I don't know. They don't seem to update it. It's kind of
Oh,
like
like a month ago.
some things are broken. But if you go, AJ47 is the author. That's my
Okay.
fork, which I've fixed up a bunch of stuff and added a bunch of features.
Oh my
Um,
God. Okay. AJ47.
yeah, but unfortunately, in my
Wait,
version, I haven't.
AJ?
Yeah, that's it.
I see you.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's eight commits ahead.
Yeah,
Good
so
cooking.
I've added the
Oh,
Grok initial
it's
prompt,
probably fast AF,
post
right?
transcription. Yeah, yeah, it's really fast.
Wow. You got the Gamma model too. Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, 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 whoa.
yeah, I think that because it was the smallest, I assumed it'd be the fastest. So,
Oh my God.
um,
So does this work exactly like this? Look at this guy doing
yeah,
push-ups.
I can give you a demo. Do you want to see?
Please. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see.
Um,
Let me have to switch screens for screen share.
yeah, yeah, I just have your tab.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
You're good. Let's I don't know where. I guess. Well, like here's the UI. So it's a Electron app, I think. So you can build it
Okay.
for. I'll just put it. Oh, you can keep us on that side. Sorry. um, I think you can build it for like any platform. On Egoist one in releases, he has builds for like Linux. I mean Windows, Mac, and Linux. I think. But yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I built it for Mac. Yeah, you just like like I'll select here. You just type like something like this, bananas are green. And yeah, just like
That's fast.
obvious dictation. Yeah, it's fast, it's Grok. And then like so recently I've added the like an initial prompt here where I've got like random words that aren't in the dictionary. So I don't know, it hasn't been too good, but like, like let's pick one that won't be good, like won't be in the dictionary, like
Straw.
autogen, I think.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
let's see if this
it's
works.
sync as well.
AutoGen, Agent GPT, these are cool words like AutoGPT. And yeah, you can see it's like picked up that spelling. Whereas if I had this off, I haven't tested this, but let's see if I turn this off. Let's try to do that same thing. AutoGen, Agent GPT, these are cool words. Yeah, see? It's just like AutoGen, like, So you kind of like this initial prompt thing is really awesome. Because obviously you're in tech too, so we have like all these words that don't exist in the dictionary that we want.
Bro,
And and then you can also do
wait, why don't you make that like a default in your like tech bro? Just like make a tech bro. Actually, okay, I'm gonna fork this repo right now. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna make that as like a preference. Just drop down.
Tech
That's
Bro
smart,
Drone.
right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, this whole thing's
yeah,
open source, completely
make
free,
a tech bro
and
profile.
even Grok's like speech to text is free as well, like with
Fire.
Finland.
Yeah, Manu, for sure. It's super fast too. Yeah.
And
Wow.
yeah, so there's also post processing, which I don't really haven't found a good use for, but you could definitely do stuff like, oh, actually, you know what a good use would be? So I have like this just to show, like edit, so there's always commas between each word. Obviously, that's just like
Okay.
not really that good, but like I could be saying like a sentence normally, and then you can see here it's like got commas in between each word. But what could be cool, I just thought of this now, is like
Yeah.
um edit this to have dot points if you think there is a list. Um,
Yes.
you know what I mean? So like if
Yes.
if I'm like let's open like Google Doc without hopefully doxing all my docs. Yes.
Wait, can I give you some guidelines?
Yeah, we can try
So
some.
check this out. Check out my screen. This is my window. So I actually have a transcript to Active Voice because I'm always doing
Oh.
transcripts and it literally have paragraphs of ideas. And what I do is I rewrite
Hmm.
my idea using Active Voice and following principles. So I
Yeah.
had these rules like redundancy, maximize Active Voice, keep personal elements. So then I would add this as a drop down, in the preference for this. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna fork this app and then contribute to it. So then like I could just add this into it
Yeah,
because it's
man.
open source. Everyone can download it and build it, and then I could probably even add in like context to it, right? And just have these preferences that people can save per their user account.
You can do anything you want.
Oh, that'd be fire. You can do it for free, right? Like that's
Yeah,
what's cool.
for free. Yeah,
It
it's the
attaches
power
the
of open
so
source.
I tell it this is the transcript, and so like it even has the example. So like I think was it I was just blabbing off about something here, and like talking to my friend, and like it rewrites the thing. Voice AI interview. What was I doing here? Here's an email to like someone about something. You know, like here's I think a thought about Johnny Ive or something like that. That I was like, I don't think is looking
Hmm.
for Steve. So like this is me blabbing, right? And then I'll
Yeah.
rewrite this transcript following the style, right? In the personal
Hmm.
voice. Uh, so as like make it actually make sense. Feel free to remove things so the idea really comes across. And so this is just kind of me iterating with the prompts and stuff forth. But I think there could be an interesting workflow in which instead of like it being so direct like this, but maybe we can have multiple steps. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways you could take it because I've been experimenting with this, but I feel like this prompt is extremely valuable or something like this.
Yeah.
Type of transcript type of voices.
It,
Dang,
yeah, I'd love to
that's
see some more
awesome.
contributions on it. Because I know a lot of people are paying for these dictation apps when they really shouldn't be.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop this into the GitHub link. Uh, I mean, I'm definitely paying for it,
Yeah.
but I feel like I get the value, right? Like I get it on iOS, and so because it's an Electron app, technically I can build it and ship it to my iOS app, right?
Uh, not sure about that. I'm not sure if Electron's a mobile native. Well,
See, that's kind of where I'm at, bro.
you what's your use case on iOS? You could definitely build it for web, and then
Typing for like emails. I use it for everything, bro.
oh, like
Like literally
within
my
like the
keyboard.
keyboard.
Like I just yap. I reply to like hundreds of Twitter comments and YouTube comments just by like just like super fast.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I have lots of hours of yapping. Yeah, because so I go for a walk and like as I'm walking, I'm just kind of replying to people, right? Just going
Hmm.
through emails, just like boom, 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 and
Hmm.
Yeah, the thing I wish I had was that transcript to active voice, because sometimes I'll reply and have this like really long form, super long paragraph. I then copy it, I go into Anthropic app,
Mm.
I paste it in, I let it do its thing, and then I send. But those like or more like longer, thoughtful emails. But yeah, it's me. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice because it does remove a lot of my repetitive thinking, uh, and then I learn how to talk better too, just from watching it. That's sweet, man. Holy smokes. Yeah, so in order, okay, so let's just say, ladies and gentlemen, you want to clone this thing. Let's go ahead and start from scratch real quick. Because I have to have it pretty bad. Let's do this. Terminal. So what I usually do is I pop the terminal open for those who are wondering. CD, I have a workspace. I just create a folder called workspace. That's pretty much where I
Yo, Patrick, what's up? Sorry I didn't read your message. I was just keeping the conversation live with Ray.
do is just kind of make different workspaces. I can just make one for work. I can make one for games. I can make one for whatever. But to me, I think I just git clone and then this thing here. Actually, should I fork your fork and then contribute?
Yeah,
Is that how I should do it?
definitely.
Yeah. So I'm gonna fork his, so that way I can make changes and make my own branches and not really kind of mess with his repo. Uh, and what this means is basically I take his code, I make a little branch of mine. So it's gonna be this, yeah, and then so I can make my own branches, and that way I don't have to like get a pull requests and review things. I could just kind of iterate on my own app, and then if I want to ship a feature, I would just make a pull request back into his. So, and then I can always sync the fork, which means basically I can pull in anything I want. If he makes changes and keeps pushing code, I can just pull in the latest changes and kind of merge them back into mine. So I just go ahead and copy and paste here, and then Command C, Command K,
Zurft, what's up? Python, what about it?
this in. So now I have this repo here, and then I should just is there any setup instructions that I need here?
Um, yeah, I should probably get the README updated, but I think it's just as simple as like npm run dev or whatever. Like if you check out the oh shit,
This
is
is
it?
a massive repo. Why is this so big?
I hope I didn't push. I hope I didn't push there's like it because I just added the MLX model. So I hope I didn't put model
Maybe that's what
file.
it is.
Yeah, that could be
Bruh.
the case. Bruh. Um,
Bruh. Bruh.
yeah, maybe cancel that.
Let's see. Okay, CD Wispo. WHISPO. Okay. And then I usually just do cursor.
You can clone the original. That should be
Ah,
fine.
it's cool. I already have the repo pretty downloaded.
Oh, you do?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I already got it here. So, okay, so here I am in Wispo, right? So like index. Okay, okay, okay. So in here, I could just npm install or bun install, right?
Oh yeah, fucking push the weights.
Ah,
Oh
bruh.
yeah. Well, it's only 71 meg. It still
Yeah.
shouldn't be pushed.
So I like bun as an installer, so that's kind of why I bun installed. I'm probably gonna break all.
Yeah.
Let's see. So cannot execute this because script not found rebuild. Users Ray rebuild electron window. I don't have. What is this? So there's native dependency. Help me understand what's going on here. Let me understand why this failed. I don't know. Just let the agent cook with 3 Max. That's kind of why I like my Cursor subscription. Yeah, so if you have the latest Cursor plan, technically you have like unlimited requests. So something like this, which doesn't require a lot of code changes, should let me, cook for a little while, which would be kind of nice. If I'm using like Claude Opus or something like that, it's going to definitely burn through a lot of those. I think in essence with Cursor, you basically just get compute hours. And so something that uses a lot of expensive compute like Opus, you probably won't get a lot of compute hours. With O3, it sounds like you have maybe more compute hours, but that's kind of, there's nothing specifically measurable that you can say, okay, definitely do this or definitely don't do this. Let's see here. Search for web. Okay. Yes, that was. So Electron Builder is calling into install app, and then it looks like it's trying to rebuild native dependencies. And oh, R64. Okay. So not rebuild. So okay, so it's running the bun command, and it's going to run this bun build command. So maybe that's probably why. So I probably can't use bun to install this probably, and it's probably going to say you should use something else. The short version, it tried to compile, but this module won't spawn the package manager command.
Yeah, I think I
The
used.
CLI doesn't rebuild. Okay, that makes sense. Do pnpm or yarn.
Yeah, pnpm.
Okay. Pnpm install. Okay, so let's just do that. Pnpm install. Do you want to continue? Yes. Install things. Dang. Cool. So let's say keep bun, but skip the native rebuild step. Okay. So what happened? It failed. Open source, bro. Let's see.
Yeah, that is one issue with open source, is like just getting the thing running.
Yeah. It's just open source. You could just clone it, bro. It just works.
I never said it just works.
Yeah.
I said it's free.
When repos have bad readmes, it annoys me. When I have AI to make better readmes. I mean, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I feel like this was before the era of like super heavy AI vibe coding, obviously, because it was like up to date like 9 months ago. The guy's just like, I'm done. No one's paying for this. I'm good. What specifically did it fail at? So it's an object wrap bug. Oh my gosh, look at this stat trace. This is massive. Native extension. So it's actually building the code by hand. That's nice.
Like,
oh, and it can't pull this file because it's not available. Okay. WTF, mate? Dude, am I ever gonna get this built? Dude, I'm becoming a build engineer now. Oh my god, this is so crazy. Okay. I did pnpm install. Now this.
just get Cursor to do it for you, like install it, set it up. Not just
I
like,
mean, that's why I did the agent mode.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, help me. That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
I'm just saying, help me cook. Yeah. Oof, this repo needs a lot of work just to get it to rebuild. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
It's definitely a big hairy mess right now. Lucky. Oh, node versions. Okay.
yeah, that's normally the issue. Also, I'm looking in the package JSON, and there isn't a build. I mean, an install script.
It's lost to some node. 20. Yeah. Yeah. Node. Okay. So switch your development runtime to support in Node version 22. Bro. Let's just, yeah, let me just clean install. Let's see if it just to rebuild. I'm just going to rebuild everything. Maybe that's what it, like maybe my previous failed install kind of caused some issues. Still same thing. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely some node issue. Do I even want to get into this right now? Once you're on node 22 or 20, the npm installs.
Maybe leave it for offline.
Bro, this is crazy. Okay. So, okay, for those who are wondering kind of like what's going on and kind of what's the big headache and kind of what's the let me kind of break it down a little bit here. So, let me change the camera angles so that we get the right dramaticism. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen.
He's using Cursor.
Node versions. And so we're like the latest one that's currently running is like Node version 23, but you still have version 22, 21, I think even like 20 supported all the way, and it's going to continue to be supported until like the next coming, months and so forth. So what ends up happening is whenever you're using this stuff locally on your own computer, you're going to probably have the latest version of Node running, whether it's 22 or 23. And so they have these like package managers and these environment managers that could say, whenever you're doing development work, you'll, if you're vibe coding, you may not completely be aware of this, that you're wrapping whatever version of, the environment, which is Node, which is running the underlying code for a lot of these apps, and you're developing on top of it, right? So you have to like use these thing called like Node EMV or something like that. Will say, hey, for this specific project, I'm using this specific version of Node. I'm gonna have to stick with that because it's not yet supported for the newer versions. And sometimes it takes some projects a lot longer to kind of ramp up to adopt the new APIs, and things could be like completely broken. And so to prevent things from being broken, they'll say you can't use or install this package because that version is higher than what we have supported right now. That tends to be like, especially if you have some open source projects that are really, really big, they're really good about locking down, saying, okay, it hasn't been tested yet and this is not ready to be used for these other versions, so forth. So what that means for us is basically whenever you're installing something, you may come into these types of issues, and you start to kind of go down this rabbit hole of making sure you have these environments set up for your specific projects, which can take a little while to get going. So depending on how much time you have and how much patience you have, if you haven't done this yet, this can actually take you days. um, but once you figure it out, you'll start to learn a little bit more about how the machine works, which would be really interesting. The same is also true if you're developing in Python. Your Python environments and your Python versions are really important, and how you manage those environments are really interesting. So I also have a document on Ray Fernando AI for using Conda. So if you're using versions of Python, I use Conda specifically, and then you can build your own little environments to have all your packages installed and everything kind of contained in one container. So that way, when you're testing and you actually deploy to production, you know that everything you've been working on in that container should work as it's expected and so forth. So that's our little PSA for today, as far as like what we got going on there. So yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at with this. And then yeah, if I want to get into the Node EMV thing, I would probably just do npm install 22 or something like that, switch my development runtime. So I don't think, how do I know if I am using npm? And then, so I think you could just do which npm, and it'll say npm not found. So, and then I have to probably install npm somehow using some global package.
Oh, you don't have NVM. Okay.
Yeah, bro. I'm not a like web developer, bro. I just buy. All I do is code and buy. Yeah.
What's your Node version?
Let's see. Node. This version is 23.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want the speed. I want the speed. I want the fastest of the fast node.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I would have to install npm, command npm, and so this, for instance, this.
Mhm.
I don't think I have. Yeah, it's not existing. Yeah. So then I would have to install it using this type of package. Do it there, and then I would then use this to actually switch my versions. I should probably get this because that would just mean that I'm a legitimate developer. I would graduate myself from like vibe code extraordinaire to like actual legit developer, as opposed to like currently just influencer mode, which I'm currently in. I'm in my influencer era, bro. Like, yeah, that Rainbow needs augment help, bro. Bro, Doom is no chill right now. Hey, Rafina, did you already saw Cursor to Do's, the new feature? I know that they're announcing something, and I'm going to be joining a Spaces tomorrow, so we'll have to check
Right.
that out. I didn't realize it's a Cursor to Do's thing. Have you heard about it?
Nope. Is that the tasks?
Yeah.
The like background tasks or no?
Cursor to Do's. I don't know. Interesting.
think
I
it's just the
okay.
background touch, probably.
Yeah, I don't. It probably is. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah. Yo, Ray, buenas tardes. Why are you talking about MVM? Yeah, bro. MVM, the reason why we're talking about this is because there's actually a really cool project which will allow you to basically replace Whisperflow. But the caveat is it takes a little bit of work to get this project going. It's called Whispo, WHISPO.
Well,
And
you
it's an AI
can
powered thing.
run the 8-month-old version from the releases in the base.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that one.
And I just have to put a key somewhere.
Yeah, you just set up your grok key inside the settings.
Ah,
But
that's
this is the
cool.
version that doesn't have the initial prompt and the stuff I added.
Okay. This is really, really cool. So then you have this native app in which you can speak in, and then basically it acts like Whisperflow, and it'll like translate everything pretty
Oh.
much, or transcribe everything pretty much in real time, which is super duper awesome. It's really fast as we saw in the demo earlier, and this is gonna be really awesome. Yeah, because this is more in the background.
My OBS froze.
No, you're still live here, so it's good.
Yeah, this is I'm sharing separately too. Damn it.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of a lot of different things. I know people kind of came initially to the stream to talk about slash commands, and like I'll very briefly went into it. So, for those who did enter the stream, if you're kind of seeing the title, just a real quick summary before we kind of head on out and come back again for the next day, so that we can kind of figure out some other stuff to do. Is Cloud Code released this new thing called slash commands. It's been out for a little while, but you can now kind of implement your own custom slash commands. They have their own baked in slash commands like slash clear, slash compact, which you may have already been using, but the custom one is kind of new. And so you can just give it these rules files, and then you can actually access them by calling them. So in order for you to call it in your project, you can put a rule like a markdown file inside of this location, Claude commands. And then from there, you can just call it with slash project and colon project name. So in this case, they just did project optimize, and then the instructions are literally just this one line in this markdown. And so what I did is I actually have a design review document, and then I just put that as a type of thing. So in rayfernando.ai, if you go here, I have one that says automate UI standards with LLM, cursor LLMs. And I actually have a rules. If you kind of like scroll towards the bottom, there's actually like a full on like design system that I use. So you can just copy this and create this as markdown file, and then just copy it and just do slash project colon design dot md, or design. And then if this file is in there, you should be able to actually just, execute, and it'll review everything that's in your repo. Or you can say review, and then add a specific file, do a design review on my files, or do a design review on the latest